Yeah, let's get through Sands of Time.
Well, we're not quite there yet.
Oh, damn it.
So this past Sunday,
do you have that Days of Our Lives music that you can play?
I don't. I wish I did.
Sands through the hourglass.
This past Sunday was the 50-day mark. Speaking of marks, the 50-day mark for
they're on the same line.
They are. They're separated by the gap.
Uh-oh.
So we're getting closer. The 50-day mark for CM Punk in AEW. So this I don't remember who I saw this tweet from, but it had kind of like the stats.
For the wrestling podcast.
No. I don't steal from them too much. Although I should start stealing some stuff from them. EJ steals my sound bites every week. But CM Punk's first 50 days, there was 10 hear from Punk segments, whether it was a promo in the ring or a vignette. 3 matches, of course, the wins over Darby Allin, Powerhouse Hobbs, Daniel Garcia. 3 appearances as a commentator, 1 appearance on AEW Dark.
And 1 breakage of the internet with his t-shirt going on sale.
Absolutely. He literally broke a website and he gave out ice cream bars at multiple arenas. How would you assess CM Punk's first 50 days in AEW? To me, I mean you can I don't think you can look at it as anything but a success. You know, when you get 15 million views, if we want to talk ratings, quote unquote, you want to get 15 million views or whatever on the YouTube stuff. You know, the viewership for the episode from Chicago, and you know, you have matches. The matches weren't match of the year candidates or anything like that, but you know, he's working with and elevating 3, you know, younger talents in AEW. You know, so I don't know. I don't expect to see CM Punk out wrestling every week on Dynamite and on Rampage. So I think the first 50 days are a success. Thoughts?
I would say
agree.
it's as advertised. Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of what everyone was anticipating when they heard he was returning. I think that all of the lackluster big announcements they've had in the past, Paul White, I think this kind of really took everything that they kept hinting at, you know, with all the big announcements, the big surprises, the big debuts. I think this one finally took everything that they had tried to do in the past and actually capitalized off of it. And maybe it was just trial and error. Maybe they were overestimating the names that they were having to make these debuts. But I think that this time they absolutely hit it out of the park.
Yeah, I agree with that. We were looking at 50 days. That's 7 weeks. He's wrestled 3 times. That's almost half of the time he's there performing in a wrestling match. Multiple talkie segments, which is absolutely fine. I think you pop the crowd and you hook them on Wednesday so they tune in and watch CM Punk wrestle on Friday. I wouldn't do a damn thing different. A+.
Well said by both of them.
Mark?
I think it's been very refreshing, if I may use the word refreshing.
Okay.
It's great to have CM Punk back. It's what people have wanted, and we finally got it. It was very refreshing the first 50 days. I like it a lot.
If
Here's the 50 more days.
If CM Punk were ever to be AEW champ, how long do you think the title reign would last?
434.
I don't think he ever should be.
No, I honestly could see him more as the TNT champion.
Yeah.
As opposed to the AEW World Champion. I don't think he
I would be surprised if he wanted that, to be honest.
I don't think he needs to ever be AEW world champion. Like I don't besides like Money in the Bank wins, I don't think he ever needed quote unquote to be WWE champion. Like he's kind of one of those guys that because of the following and the the character, the attitude that he has, like just being in those spots is almost as important as being a champion. Like him being the focal point and like in his WWE run, just kind of being like the thorn in the side of the authority is more important than being a champion. So I don't think he needs to be AEW champion. And if he ever would be, I don't think it lasts very long. I think it's if he would ever win the title, it's more of a product to get to the next champion. So if he wins it at All Out because it's in Chicago, he loses it at whatever the next pay-per-view is
3 months later. Yeah.
Or if you want to do it on a Dynamite or a Rampage.
Yeah, I feel as though it'll if he does win the title, it'll come one of two ways. Either it will be like Shawn Michaels when he won the World Heavyweight Championship when he came back as like this is the last hurrah. Here's his send off, and he holds the title for a month and he loses it again. Or it's a point of like ECW where due to injuries or people leaving the company or things like that, like they needed Tommy Dreamer to be the ECW champion. And so you put the title on him because you have to for a spell. I don't think it's hard to say that someone is above a title, especially a title that has such a short lineage as AEW, but Punk doesn't need that title. If anything, the title needs him more than anything else. But
I think that's a great point. I think if AEW, I don't know, ever gets a wild hair up their ass and runs Monday against Raw or something, that is the title opportunity that you would put CM Punk in to get the ratings. Have your own. That'll put asses. I don't know what you do. That's how you beat Monday Night Raw in the ratings.
I don't know if we're far from that. If we're being honest, if nothing else, on like a special night, and this ties back to a question Scotty asked a few minutes back.
Scotty,
he says, "What's Tony Khan's obsession with WWE?" He said it's almost weird at this point.
I'm surprised it took Jim this long to bring that topic to the table. As I saw that float through, I was like, "Oh, Jim, did Jim message Charlie and be like, hey?"
Or Scotty? No, I didn't message Scotty. I think we're getting what the 2021 version of WCW versus WWF was in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's just kind of what is happening right now. Like, to me, like and I think Ryan, you and I were hanging out on Friday, and like the only thing that like felt weird, cheesy, whatever it was, like
was holding hands inside Walmart.
We weren't supposed to talk about that on the air.
That's not weird for you guys.
I was gonna say that's actually
right down the cereal aisle.
Part of the course.
But like the AEW account, like tweeting out the Variety article, like the competition article. But like, I mean, like Tony tweeting it from his personal account, like I don't necessarily see what the issue is. I mean, if you're going to competition, you're trying to rile up your fan base, and if your goal for this weekend is to draw the eyes away from SmackDown, which is on FS1 because because baseball is on is on Fox. Oh, Charlie's got to go. See you, Charlie.
No, Charlie.
If that's your goal, then
lay her down.
Tony,
fine.
Tony kind of has to do what he's doing, like, because like it was easy, quote unquote, for AEW to beat NXT on Wednesday nights. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily as easy to beat SmackDown on a Friday, maybe because FS1's in less homes than TNT. But like, if Tony makes that tweet last Friday about how WWE's going to head with them because they're doing the Super SmackDown till 10:30, then your goal is get people to tune away at 10 o'clock. And now with the buy-in with Daniel Bryan on YouTube before Rampage goes on the air, like, isn't that what a good promoter does? Isn't that what a good like business owner does? Trying to get his fans to watch his product? Like,
Here's the deal. I mean, you can't argue that SmackDown beats the Raw in the ratings, correct, every week. That's been happening now for a while. You move SmackDown, the hot brand, off of Fox to a cable, channel that not everybody's going to have. It's not basic over the air. There's an opportunity for you guys, and I get that Dynamite also is on TNT, but the number of people not watching SmackDown, I don't think is because AEW's running a good Rampage. Just because they don't have FS or they can't find it, and they said, "I'm not going to look for it." Whatever.
Baseball, or they're
right.
else,
There's something that, I mean, but you beat if you beat SmackDown in the ratings, that's a feather in your cap, and you run to the races with it. You absolutely do, even if it's 1 week.
That's the headline for Saturday.
Yes,
is if you beat SmackDown or not. Now, if Tony does everything Tony's doing this week and they don't, then it's, you get a little egg on your face.
But do you?
In a way, I don't think it's anything dramatic.
So trying to fight out of your weight class is enough to get egg on your face. Like, all WWE has to do, all WWE has had to do during this entire time with AEW being present is put out a better product, not a good product. All WWE has to do is be better than they are right now. And even with AEW knocking on the door, sending a NXT to Tuesday, making them color change and take on a brand new identity, WWE still won't be better. So what else needs to happen? Because Tony's not actively going after, because if you remember, Tony Khan picked Wednesday, and then WWE said we're putting NXT on Wednesdays and we're going 2 weeks before AEW. So WWE counter-programmed AEW.
Right.
So everything so far has been WWE doing something against AEW. AEW, when they had the Friday night show, chose 10 to allow people to watch their wrestling. Watch SmackDown till 10, then come to Dynamite from 11 till 11. And so all WWE has to do is just be better, and they don't want to. They won't.
I mean, that's tough though too. I mean, all the New York Jets have to do is be better. They have who they have. They have their game plans, and they are what they are. And you get what you get.
WWE's roster is too good to be as bad as Raw is.
The Jets haven't won.
Poor analysis.
The Jets. So the only thing that the New York Jets and the WWE have in common is that they've been at the top of their field at least once. The Jets haven't been a championship team
since before Joe Namath was a drunk.
Before, when Joe Namath was wearing pantyhose.
Right.
You're pretty.
Like, that's what they have in common.
I just want to kiss you.
I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
That was it. Yeah,
That was a
something like
good- that was a
yeah, that
good
was
meme.
solid.
Damn it! I wanted to bring out the wheel of impressions this week. Next week.
And so it's very like WWE just has to do the only thing WWE has to hang their hat on right now is Roman Reigns. That's it.
Yeah.
They have 8 hours of 7 hours of programming, and Roman Reigns is the only thing worth talking about. When if you take any of the AEW angles that are going on right now, they easily fit better than anything else that WWE does except for Roman Reigns.
Dan Lambert. Except for Dan Lambert.
Dude, that shit's gold. Get over yourself.
It's so bad. I hate it. No, Tim, you have a great point. You have an absolutely great point. And like this week, I mean, all Tony did last Friday was react to the WWE announcing that they were running a half hour longer. He said, well, that's our time. You know, they're coming into our time now.
Right. So I think all bets are off, and let's go to war for this week. Again, not a real war. Everybody's actually friends with each other, probably.
I think
Forbidden doors, whatever.
You know, it's literally the closest I think we're going to get, at least right now, with to you know, the glory days, you know, in the 90s. And if like you said, if AEW ever goes to run on Mondays, then we'll see. But I don't think they do. I don't think they need to. I think they're doing just fine doing what they're doing.
Another wonderful question to ask is, so this Variety article that comes out, is that an AEW piece or is that a WWE piece?
Yes.
Because if it's an AEW piece, then it makes sense. If it's a WWE piece, it's the first time publicly in any form of media that the phrase competition has been used in regards to AEW versus WWE.
Well, and if it's a WWE piece, like and again, we've talked about it. Like WWE does its best when they're on their heels.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this WWE? Is this their PR? Like, is this their and is WWE? This sounds almost funny to say, but is WWE? Did they intentionally pick this week because they know they're going to be on FS1? It's harder to get eyes on the Did they intentionally choose this week as the run over week because they know Tony's going to go, well, now you're cutting into my time, so he's going to react, and we've seen what he's done all week. So I mean, like I said, we were talking on the pre-show, like I don't know what you know, the Daniel Bryan on the YouTube show, the buy-in, if that match plays to people who aren't necessarily strong style or Japanese wrestling fans, but like you draw up enough attention that there's going to be people that are, I'm sure, going to tune over. Or if they don't have FS1, they're going to tune in. So like what happens if we're in that hour that SmackDown's viewership drops by 200,000, but AEW's viewership numbers are 400,000. So like they can make the argument, well, 200,000 came out. So like I think it's all smart business on both sides, and if you're going to draw more attention and make more competition, then I think whether it's WWE or it's AEW, then then that I think helps both sides. The rising tide raises both ships.
It sure does. And Tim, I think you're going to get really lucky here because you just said the WWE just has to do better.